Welcome back to the archives. Tonight, we turn our attention to the thin black line that separates the realm of mankind from the utter alien darkness that seeks to devour it. We speak of the Deathwatch, the chamber militant of the Ordo Xenos, the shield that slays. You can smell the ozone here, rising from the data stacks, mixing with the scent of ancient, dried parchment and the faint, lingering aroma of sacred promethium oils used to anoint the machinery of record. It is a quiet place, but the stories within are anything but silent. They scream with the dying breaths of star systems and the roar of bolters in the void. Here, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods. It is a place where hope is the first casualty, and survival is a burden measured in ammunition and blood. Before we unseal these forbidden records, please take a moment to subscribe and like the transmission. It helps the machine spirit of the algorithm find more loyal citizens. And tell me, in the Vox logs below, what is your current sector and planetary time? It brings comfort to know that even across the vast, uncaring gulf of space, we are not truly alone. Now, dim your lumens. Let the hum of your cogitators soothe you, and let us descend into the lore together. You find yourself cast back through the mists of history, long before the current era Indomitus, drifting through the annals of the 32nd millennium. It is a time often glossed over in the primers of the Schola Progenium, a time when the Imperium of man, fresh from the horrors of the Horus heresy, had allowed itself a moment of fatal complacency. The traitor legions had been scoured into the eye of terror. The alien threat seemed broken, scattered like leaves before a storm. The High Lords of Terra grew fat on the tithes of 1,000,000 worlds, believing that the Great Crusade had done its work, that the galaxy was tamed. They were wrong. You are standing on the bridge of an Imperial battleship in the year 544, M32. The air is cold. Recycled too many times, tasting of metal and recycled sweat. The auspex arrays before you are not calm. They are screaming. The red runes of threat detection are cascading down the screens like a waterfall of blood. You look out into the void, expecting to see the stars, but instead, you see a moon. But it is not a natural satellite of rock and dust. It is a weapon. This is the onset of the War of the Beast. From the dark depths of the galactic fringe, the Ork race has returned. But these are not the disorganized, squabbling barbarians the Imperium has grown accustomed to culling. These greenskins are different. They are disciplined. They are armored in scrap plate that rivals the durability of ceramite. And they are led by an entity of such primal power and terrifying intellect that he is known only as the Beast. You watch, paralyzed by the scale of it, as an Ork attack moon translates from the warp directly over a hive world. The physics of it make your mind reel. This is not a ship. It is a celestial body that has been hollowed out, filled with engines the size of cities and weaponized. The sheer gravitational displacement of its arrival causes tides to rise miles high on the planet below, drowning continents before a single shot is fired. The Imperium bleeds. You can feel the panic radiating from the astropathic choir, a psychic scream that tears through the warp. The defenses of the Segmentum Solar are shattered. The Imperial fists, the Sons of Dorn, the Praetorians of Terra, are deployed to halt the advance. You see them, resplendent in their yellow armor, standing upon the walls of Artemantua. They are the immovable object, but the Beast is an unstoppable force. Slaughter is absolute. It is recorded in the Liber Historiarum, though. Some inquisitors claim these pages are often sealed with the magenta clearance of the Ordo Redactus that the Imperial fists were not merely defeated, they were annihilated. The chapter was reduced to a single survivor. The realization hits you with the force of a thunder hammer. The astartes, the angels of death, are not enough. Not as they are. The tactics of the Codex Astartes, written by Gilliman to counter the traitor legions, falter against this new, evolved Xenos threat. The Orks of the Beast utilize gravity weapons that crush space marines inside their own power armor, compressing plasteel and flesh into a singular bloody sphere. You hear the wet crunch of bones snapping under immense pressure, a sound that no amount of psycho-indoctrination can filter out. The Greenskins possess teleportation technology that bypasses void shields, beaming squads of mega-armored knobs directly onto the bridges of Imperial flagships. The High Lords of Terra are paralyzed by bureaucracy and fear. The Sanatorum Imperialis becomes a pit of vipers, arguing over resource allocation while the greenskin moon hangs in the sky above Holy Terra itself, a green, leering skull mocking the master of mankind. The despair is palpable. It hangs in the air like smoke. You are witnessing the moment the Imperium realized its own mortality. This is the crucible. This is the fire that burns away the arrogance of the post-heresy era. The disparate chapters of the Adeptus Astartes are scattered, fighting their own isolated wars, unable to coordinate a killing blow against a Xenos empire that functions as a single terrifying organism. The Ultramarines are too far away. The Space Wolves are hunting in the dark. The Blood Angels are defending their own borders. You stand amidst the wreckage of a strike cruiser, the hull breached, the atmosphere venting into the void. Around you float the bodies of the chapter serfs and the broken forms of the Astartes. You see the limitations of the current doctrine. A Space Marine is a generalist, a warrior monk designed to conquer worlds. But against a species-specific threat that evolves, adapts, and overwhelms, the generalist is at a disadvantage. The Imperium does not need an army. It needs a knife in the dark. It needs a force that understands the biology of the Ork, the technology of the Eldar, the hunger of the Tyranid, though the great devourer has not yet arrived in force. Its shadow is always there. The War of the Beast proved that unity was required, but not the unity of a legion. That time had passed. They needed a brotherhood formed from the best of all bloodlines, a distillation of martial prowess. You watch as the remnants of the Imperial forces rally. Among them walks a figure of immense stature, his yellow armor battered and scorched, his face a mask of grief and cold fury. This is Courland, the last of the Imperial fists, though he would later rebuild his chapter. In this moment, amidst the ashes of his brothers and the burning of the Imperium, a new idea begins to form in his mind. It is a radical thought, bordering on tech heresy in its innovation. It is the concept that to defeat the alien, one must understand the alien. One must study their methods, their weaknesses, and their fears. The atmosphere shifts. The screaming of the invasion siren seems to dull, replaced by the heavy rhythmic thrumming of a gathering storm. The Imperium is bleeding from 1,000 wounds. The attack moons hang heavy in the void. The Orks bellow their victory chants across the radio frequencies. But in the darkness, a plan is being forged. A plan that will require the setting aside of ancient rivalries, the sharing of forbidden secrets, and the creation of a brotherhood that owes allegiance not to a primarch, but to the mission of extinction. You are witnessing the death of the old way of war, and the painful, bloody birth of the long vigil. The beast has arisen, and in doing so, he has awakened a predator far deadlier than himself. You stand now in the shadow of giants within the echoing, marble-clad halls of the Sanatorum Imperialis on Terra. The air is thick with the scent of myrrh and the heavy, metallic tang of anxiety. The year is still 544, M32, but the mood has shifted from panic to a cold, razor-edged resolve. You are witnessing a convocation that will alter the genetic and strategic destiny of the Adeptus Astartes forever. Courland, the last son of Dorn, stands before the High Lords. His armor is a ruin of yellow ceramite, scarred by the gravity weapons of the Greenskins. Yet he projects an aura of indomitable will that silences the bickering bureaucrats. He is not here to beg for reinforcements that do not exist. He is here to demand a new order. You watch as he unfurls a hololithic map of the galaxy. It is a sea of red warning runes, each one marking the location of an Ork attack moon, or a system lost to the green tide. The conventional strategies have failed. The massed charges of the Astra Militarum, the hammer blows of the Navy, even the surgical strikes of individual chapters, all have broken against the beast's defenses. The alien adapts. Kurlin's voice rumbles, a sound like grinding tectonic plates. It learns. It evolves. We fight it with the blunt instruments of the Great Crusade, while it fights us with a precision we refuse to acknowledge. This is the birth of the decree. You see the representatives of the other chapters present, a captain of the Ultramarines, a Wolf Lord of Fenris, a chaplain of the Blood Angels. They stand apart, their heraldry distinct, their traditions diverging over the millennia since the heresy. There is tension in the air, the lingering ghosts of ancient rivalries and the suspicion that always exists between cousins who have grown estranged. Kurland proposes the unthinkable. He calls for a tithe, not of resources or ammunition, but of blood. He demands that every chapter, from the first founding to the newest successors, surrender a portion of their veterans. He asks for their best hunters, their most analytical minds, their most stubborn survivors. You can see the hesitation in the eyes of the High Lords, to mix the gene seeds, to create a force that answers to no single Primarch's lineage. It smacks of the Legion building that led to the Horus heresy. The fear of another civil war is a palpable weight in the room, almost as heavy as the fear of the Orks, but Kurland is relentless. He speaks not of conquest, but of specialized extermination. He outlines a force of small, autonomous kill teams, operating with the authority of the Inquisition, but the independence of the Astartes. They will not hold ground. They will cut the throat of the enemy. They will not govern worlds. They will purge them. The debate rages for hours, days. Perhaps time loses its meaning in the hallowed, stasis-preserved air of the sanctum. You watch as Lord Inquisitor Weenan of the nascent Ordo Xenos steps forward. The Inquisition, usually the shadow that watches the Astartes, aligns itself with Kurland. It is a historic alliance, the forging of the Chamber Militant. The Inquisition will provide the intelligence, the ships, and the sanction to use forbidden Xenotech. The Astartes will provide the muscle, the discipline, and the transhuman dread. Finally, the seal is struck. The decree is signed in gene-coded ink. The scene shifts. You are now standing on a barren, windswept plain on a moon orbiting Terra. The dust is gray and lifeless, kicking up around the sabatons of the assembled Astartes. They have come. They have answered the call. It is a sight that has not been seen since the Emperor walked among his sons. Hundreds of Space Marines, representing dozens of chapters, stand in formation. You see the azure of the Ultramarines, the crimson of the Blood Angels, the slate gray of the Space Wolves, the bone white of the Dark Angels. They stand in separate blocks, isolated by their heraldry, their distinct cultures clashing in the silence. The Wolves sneer at the Codex-compliant rigidity of the Ultramarines. The Dark Angels watch the others with hooded suspicion. Kurland walks among them. He does not demand they abandon their heritage. Instead, he offers them a new purpose. He speaks of the long vigil. He speaks of a brotherhood forged not in the gene labs of the Emperor, but in the fires of the alien wars. You are no longer sons of Gilliman, or Russ, or the Lion alone, he intones, his voice carried by the thin atmosphere. You are the shield that slays. You are the watchers in the dark. You are the Deathwatch. The unification is not immediate. You watch as they begin the training rites. It is brutal. A Space Wolf is paired with a Dark Angel and told to clear a xenomorph nest. They must learn to cover each other's blind spots, to understand the rhythm of each other's bolter fire. They must learn that the Wolf's savagery complements the Angel's precision. You see the friction. A salamander, valuing human life above all, clashes with a marine malevolent who views collateral damage as an acceptable statistic. Fists are thrown in the sparring cages. Ceramite cracks against ceramite. But slowly, painfully, the barriers break down. They realize that their differences are not weaknesses, but a vast, untapped arsenal of tactical flexibility. They learn to strip down their armor, to modify their bolters, to study the anatomy of the Ork, the Eldar, the Rud. They stop being warriors who fight aliens and become scholars of extinction. You are witnessing the first kill teams. They are awkward, rough around the edges, but they are undeniably lethal. They act as a scalpel where the legions were a hammer. They infiltrate the Ork attack moons, planting vortex charges in the gravity generators. They assassinate the lesser warbuses, disrupting the WOG energy. They steal the teleporter technology, turning the enemy's greatest advantage against them. The success of Corlin's decree is measured in the sudden, violent silence of the Ork communication networks. The attack moons begin to falter. The tide of green slows, then stops, then begins to recede. But there is a cost. You see the empty spaces in the formation where brothers have fallen. Corlin himself will eventually meet his end, a martyr to his own creation. Yet, the institution survives. The precedent is set. The chapters of the Adeptus Astartes, jealous guardians of their autonomy, agree to perpetuate the tithe. They see the value in sending their warriors away to learn the art of the alien hunter, knowing they will return with knowledge that could save their chapter from extinction. The unification is complete. The Deathwatch is no longer a desperate experiment. It is a permanent fixture of the Imperium's defense. It is a brotherhood of rivals, bound by an oath that supersedes their bloodline. As the scene fades, you are left with the image of a single pauldron, unpainted, raw ceramite waiting for the silver. The unification has created the warrior. Now the ritual must create the symbol. The armor must be blackened, the past obscured, so that the future can be secured. We move now to the hushed, incense-wreathed armoriums of the Watch fortresses, where the physical transformation of the Astartes mirrors the philosophical shift of their soul. It is a ritual as old as Corlin's decree, a ceremony of erasure and rebirth known as the Black Tithe. Imagine, if you will, the weight of a Space Marine's armor. It is not merely protective plating. It is his identity. For a son of Sanguinius, the blood-red ceramite is a reminder of his Primarch sacrifice. For a Space Wolf, the slate gray is the color of Fenrisian storms. To strip this away is to strip away the warrior's history, his honors, his very name within the saga of his brotherhood. Yet, this is the price of the Watch. You stand in the chamber of the artificers. The air is thick with the smell of sacred oils and the sharp chemical tang of paint stripper. A battle brother kneels in the center of the room. He has been chosen. Perhaps he volunteered, seeking penance for a failure only he perceives. Perhaps his chapter master sent him, recognizing a talent for killing Xenos that borders on the artistic. Or perhaps he is an exile, too radical for his own kin, found a home only among the outcasts. The Tech Marines descend. Their servo arms hum with precision as they begin to dismantle the brother's armor. Piece by piece, the heraldry of his past is removed. The aquila on the chest, the campaign badges on the greaves, the chapter icon on the right pauldron, all are scrutinized, blessed, and set aside. Then comes the painting. You watch as the servitors apply the base coat. It is not just black paint. It is a thermo-absorbent, radar-scattering compound, a technology borrowed from the Raven Guard's stealth doctrines and refined by the Inquisition. As the layer is applied, the warrior vanishes into the shadows. The vibrant blues, greens, and reds of the galaxy's 1,000 chapters are swallowed by the void. He becomes a silhouette, a shadow of the Emperor's wrath. But the ritual is not one of total erasure. There is a vital exception, a singular anchor that prevents the Marine From losing himself entirely to the anonymity of the watch, you focus your gaze on the left shoulder. Here, the artificers attach a new pauldron. It is massive, cast in silver that shines with a cold, lunar brilliance. It bears the skull and the crossbones, the eye of the Inquisition, and the script of the Apocryphon Oath. This is the mark of the Deathwatch. It is a shield against the alien, a symbol of the authority to purge entire species. Now look to the right shoulder. This is the crux of the ritual. The Tech Marines take the original pauldron of the Marines' parent chapter, the White Fist of the Imperial Fists, the Black Dragon of the Salamanders, the White Scar of the Khan, and they restore it. They polish it until it gleams, repainting the icon with meticulous care. They do not paint over it. They honor it. This is the duality of the Deathwatch. The body is black, belonging to the Watch. The left arm is silver, belonging to the Inquisition. But the right arm, the arm that wields the weapon, the arm that strikes the killing blow, retains the colors of home. It is a constant reminder to the warrior. You fight for the Imperium, but you kill with the fury of your bloodline. The symbolism is profound. When a Deathwatch kill team deploys, it is a mosaic of the Emperor's vision. You see the black armor moving in unison, a unified force of death. But when the bolters flare and the chainswords roar, you see the flashes of color on their shoulders. You see the diversity of the astartes, the different ways of war, the stoic defense, the savage charge, the calculated ambush, all brought to bear on a single point. The black tithe is also a test of humility. A captain in the Ultramarines, used to commanding companies of men, may find himself a mere battle brother in the Watch, taking orders from a sergeant of the Scythes of the Emperor, a chapter he has barely heard of. The paint equalizes them. In the black armor, rank is earned by the pile of Xenos corpses at your feet, not by the laurels of your past. You observe the final stage of the ritual. The Marine rises. He is a monolith of black and silver. The machine spirit of his armor growls, accepting the new identity. He looks at his reflection in the polished adamantium of the armory wall. He is no longer just a blood angel or a dark angel. He is a watcher. But there are others here too. You notice them in the shadows of the armory, watching the process with silent, unseen eyes. They are the Black Shields. These are the warriors who came to the Watch with no chapter to claim. Perhaps they are the last survivors of a destroyed brotherhood, their heraldry a painful reminder of failure. Perhaps they are renegades from a chapter that turned traitor, fleeing the shame of their kin to find redemption in death. Or perhaps they are something else entirely, remnants of the lost legions or experiments from the cursed founding. For them, the painting is different. The right pauldron is not preserved. It is scoured clean. It is painted black, devoid of any icon. They have erased their past completely. They are the ghosts of the Imperium, men with no history and no future, only the eternal present of the war against the alien. The atmosphere in the room is heavy, with the weight of these unspoken stories. The black tithe is not just a logistical necessity. It is a funeral for the man who was, and a baptism for the weapon he has become. The ritual concludes with the donning of the helmet. The lenses flare to life, glowing a baleful red. The warrior tests the servos of his gauntlets. He grips his bolter, now loaded with the Kroken rounds of the Deathwatch. He turns to the door, where the transport awaits to take him to the Watch Fortress. He leaves behind the colors of his brothers, the songs of his homeworld, and the comfort of his creed. He steps into the long vigil, a sentinel on the wall of the night, knowing that his armor may be black, but the fire that burns within it is the only light that keeps the galaxy from being consumed by the shadow. We drift now from the ceremony of the individual to the monumental solitude of their home. You are floating in the hard vacuum of the segmentum ultima, far from the warm light of any yellow sun. Before you hangs to Lhasa Prime, a Deathwatch fortress of such scale and Gothic grandeur that it defies the mind's attempt to categorize it. It is not a station. It is a weaponized moon, a cathedral of war hanging in the void. You approach the docking spires. They are forests of adamantium thorns, bristling with macro cannons and lance batteries that track the silent movements of the stars. The architecture is severe, brutalist, yet ornate in a way that speaks of the ecclesiarchy's influence, mingled with the Mechanicus's cold logic. Gargoyles the size of titans leer into the darkness, their stone eyes hiding sensor arrays capable of detecting a Tyranid. Spore mine 1,000,000 kilometers away. This is a watch fortress. It is a place of silence. Unlike the fortress monasteries of other chapters, which bustle with the noise of recruitment, training, and the prayer chants of thousands of serfs, Talassa Prime feels like a tomb. The corridors are vast, echoing canyons of steel, lit by the flickering glow of lumen strips that struggle against the encroaching dark. You walk these halls. The air is cold, kept at temperatures that would freeze an unaugmented human, for the Deathwatch prefers the cold. It keeps the mind sharp, the reactions honed. The only sound is the rhythmic thrum of the plasma reactors deep in the core, a heartbeat of unimaginable power. The sensory experience of a watch fortress is one of isolation. You are surrounded by the elite of the elite, yet you have never felt more alone. The brothers here are transients, passing through on their vigil. They do not form the deep, lifelong bonds of a traditional chapter. Their connections are forged in the kill zone and severed, just as quickly by reassignment or death. You pass the Hall of Trophies. This is not a museum. It is a warning. Behind stasis fields, frozen in moments of terrifying aggression, stand the enemies of man. You see the towering form of an Eldar Wraithlord, its wraithbone chassis scarred by meltifire. You see the preserved husk of a Tyranid lictor, its feeder tendrils still dripping with acidic venom. You see the crude, rusting power claw of an Ork warboss, still smelling of grease and old blood. These are not kept for glory. They are study aids. You watch as a kill team stands before the lictor, their helmets removed. A watch captain is lecturing them, pointing out the chinks in the chitin, the sensor clusters that must be blinded, the nerve bundles that must be severed. They are not admiring the beast. They are dissecting it with their eyes. Deeper still, you find the xenology vaults. Here, the line between duty and heresy blurs. You see rows of cogitators processing trillions of bytes of data on alien biology, language, and technology. You see tech marines, their armor painted black, their mechadendrites twitching reverse engineering a Tau pulse rifle. This is forbidden knowledge in the wider Imperium. To study the alien is to court corruption. But here, under the seal of the Inquisition, it is a necessary evil. The fortress is also a prison. In the deepest dungeons, far below the training decks, there are cells that hold living specimens. You hear the psychic scream of an Eldar Farseer, bound in hexagrammic wards, his mind being flayed for information on the webway. You hear the guttural roar of an Ork knob, kept alive to test the efficacy of new toxins. It is a grim, damp place, smelling of fear and antiseptic. The Deathwatch does not just kill. It exploits. You ascend to the Strategium. It is a sphere of black glass, suspended in the center of the fortress. Here, the Watch Commander stands vigil. The room is filled with holographic projections of the sector. Every star system is a node, every trade route a line of light. But superimposed over this map of the Imperium is a map of threats. Red clouds of Tyranid hive fleets drifting between the stars. Green stains of Ork empires expanding. The sleek, impossible vectors of Eldar craft worlds. That the Watch Commander is an ancient warrior, perhaps a dreadnought, perhaps a marine so old his biology is failing. He watches the screens with the patience of a statue. He is playing a game of chess against 1,000 opponents, moving single kill teams to checkmate entire invasions. He knows that he cannot win the war, only delay the end. The silence of the fortress, is broken only by the tolling of the Bell of Lost Souls. It rings not for the dead of the Imperium, but for the dead of the Watch. When a kill team is wiped out, the bell tolls once for each brother. The sound resonates through the entire structure, a mournful low-frequency vibration that you feel in your teeth. It is a reminder that even the best die. Life here is a cycle of training, study, and deployment. There is no downtime. A Deathwatch Marine does not sleep. He meditates on the nature of the enemy. He does not eat for pleasure. He consumes nutrient paste designed to maximize muscle density. He cleans his bolter until the metal is worn smooth. He sharpens his combat knife until it can split an atom. You look out of a viewport, gazing into the nebula that surrounds Talassa Prime. The gas clouds are purple and bruised, hiding the fortress from casual observation. Ships come and go, inquisitorial black ships, rapid strike cruisers, sleek corvettes. They arrive silently, deposit their tithe or their prisoners, and depart. The Watch Fortress is a lonely sentinel. It stands on the precipice of the known, staring into the unknown. It is a place of secrets, where the noble astartes are forced to confront the dirty reality of their universe, that the galaxy is teeming with life, and all of it wants them dead. You feel the weight of the stone around you. It presses in, a physical manifestation of the burden these warriors carry. They are the jailers of monsters, the scholars of horrors, the silent guardians, who ensure that the citizens of the Imperium can sleep without knowing the shape of the thing that watches them from the dark. We step now from the physical fortress into the metaphysical one. You stand in the reclusium of the Watch, a chamber of polished obsidian and flickering candlelight. The air is heavy with the scent of sacred incense, but beneath it lies the metallic tang of ceramite and the faint, coppery smell of old blood. Before you kneels a warrior, stripped of his helm, his face a landscape of scars and devotion. He is about to speak the words that will bind him to the long vigil. This is the Apocryphon Oath. It is not merely a promise. It is a rewriting of the soul. When a Space Marine is inducted into his parent chapter, he swears loyalty to his Primarch, to his brothers, and to the Emperor. But the Deathwatch demands something more. It demands a loyalty that supersedes blood. It demands a focus that narrows the universe down to a single binary equation: humanity versus the alien. You listen as the Watch Captain, a towering figure in Terminator armor, intones the first lines. His voice is a deep rumble, echoing off the black stone. Do you accept your role as the shield that slays? Do you accept the silence of the void as your brother? Do you accept that your name shall be spoken only in the shadows? The kneeling warrior responds. His voice is steady, but you can hear the weight of the sacrifice in his tone. By speaking these words, he is stepping away from the glory of his chapter. There will be no parades for him on Macragge. No sagas sung in the halls of the Fang. His victories will be classified, his heroism redacted. The oath is a shield in itself. The horrors the Deathwatch faces are not just physical. They are psychic, corruptive, and maddening. To look into the eyes of a Genestealer patriarch is to invite insanity. To walk the twisted geometries of a Necron tomb world is to risk the shattering of the mind. The Apocryphon Oath anchors the Marine. It provides a mantra of absolute purpose. Suffer not the alien to live. It is a simple, brutal truth that cuts through the complexity of the galaxy. You watch as the chaplain steps forward. He holds a book bound in the skin of a Xenos beast. Some say it is orc hide. Others claim it is the flesh of a Tau ethereal. This is the Liber Genealogus, a tome of forbidden knowledge. The warrior places his hand upon it. This act alone would be heresy for any other citizen of the Imperium. To touch the works of the alien is to court damnation. But the Deathwatch is sanctioned to know the unknowable. The oath-taking is also a ritual of secrecy. The Deathwatch operates in the shadows. They are the scalpel, not the hammer. Their missions often involve cleaning up the messes the Imperium would rather forget. A colony infected by a genestealer cult must be purged, down to the last man, woman, and child. A Xenos artifact discovered by a rogue planetary governor must be recovered, and the governor silenced. These are deeds that would stain the honor of a noble chapter like the Ultramarines. But the Deathwatch has no honor to stain. They have only the mission. You see the warrior receive the Malleus Xenos icon, a heavy pendant of adamantium that hangs around his neck. It is a badge of office, but also a key. It grants him access to the sealed archives, the quarantined armories, and the command codes for exterminatus-grade weaponry. The psychological toll of this oath is immense. You can see it in the eyes of the veterans standing in the shadows of the Reclusium. They are men who have seen too much. They have walked through the ruins of civilizations older than humanity. They have seen the stars consumed by the Tyranid swarms. They know, with a terrible certainty, just how small the Imperium truly is. The oath binds them to silence. They cannot speak of what they have seen to their brothers back home. When a Deathwatch veteran returns to his chapter, he is forever changed. He carries a burden of knowledge that he cannot share. He becomes a stranger among his own kin, a man who has looked into the abyss and blinked, but can never quite close his eyes again. The ceremony concludes. The warrior rises. He is no longer just a space marine. He is a watcher. His identity is now shielded, wrapped in the black armor and the silver pauldron. He has become a nameless instrument of the Emperor's will. But there is another layer to this shielding. The Apocryphon Oath also protects the Imperium from the Marine. The knowledge he now possesses, the weaknesses of the Xenos, the location of their empires, the nature of their technology is dangerous. If a Deathwatch Marine were to fall to chaos, the damage he could do would be catastrophic. The oath includes a fail-safe, a psycho-conditioned trigger, buried deep in the subconscious. If the Marine attempts to betray the Watch, or if his mind is compromised by alien psychic domination, the trigger activates. It is a mercy kill of the self, a shutdown of the higher brain functions to prevent the secrets of the Watch from falling into enemy hands. You watch as the new brother walks out of the Reclusium, his bolter held across his chest. He walks alone, yet he is part of a brotherhood that spans the galaxy. He is a ghost in the machine of the Imperium, a necessary shadow that allows the light to endure. He heads towards the hangars, where a Corvus Blackstar gunship waits, its engines idling with a predatory growl. His first mission awaits. A world on the fringe has gone silent. The Auspex reads bioforms. The oath has been spoken. Now it must be kept in blood. From the solemn quiet of the Reclusium, you are drawn deeper into the bowels of the Watch Fortress, following the heavy, rhythmic pounding of industrial hammers and the hiss of superheated plasma. You enter the Artificer Forges, the beating mechanical heart of the Deathwatch's arsenal. The air here is sweltering, tasting of ozone and machine oil. It is a place of smoke and fire, where the sacred and the profane are welded together in the name of efficiency. Here, the Tech Marines of the Watch work tirelessly. These are not the dogmatic priests of Mars you might find in other chapters, who fear innovation as heresy. These are artisans of death, sanctioned by the Inquisition to bend the rules of the cult Mechanicus. They study the weapons of the enemy not to worship them, but to reverse engineer their lethality. You walk past racks of weapons that would be considered relics in any other armory. But here, they are standard issue. You see the heavy, brutal forms of the Infernus heavy bolters, weapons designed to bathe entire corridors in promethium, fire while simultaneously shattering chitinous armor with mass reactive shells. You see the sleek, deadly curves of the Stalker pattern bolt gun, a sniper weapon modified with silencers and advanced targeters, perfect for the silent elimination of Xenos leaders. But your eyes are drawn to the shadows, to the restricted vaults where the true Forbidden's tech is kept. The Deathwatch, utilizes weaponry that teeters on the edge of what is permissible. You see the Xenophase blade. At first glance, it appears to be a standard power sword, but look closer. The blade is not solid matter. It is a sliver of oscillating energy, a piece of Necron technology, a phase blade that has been adapted for astartes use. It hums with a frequency that sets your teeth on edge. It does not cut flesh. It phases through molecular bonds, severing matter at an atomic level. To wield such a weapon is to hold a piece of the ancient enemy in your hand. Yet the Deathwatch deems the risk acceptable for the capability to bypass force fields and invulnerable saves. Further down, you see the heavy, cumbersome form of a frag cannon. This is a weapon born of the wars against the Orks and the Tyranids. It is a massive, shoulder-mounted shotgun that fires shells the size of a human forearm. Upon impact, these shells fragment into thousands of razor-sharp shards, shredding biological matter into a fine mist. It is a terror weapon designed to break the morale of swarm armies, turning the front ranks into a wall of gore that stops the rear ranks in their tracks. You watch a tech marine working on a heavy thunder hammer. But this is no ordinary hammer. The head is encased in a disruption field generator recovered from the wreckage of a Tau battlesuit. It is a fusion of Imperial brute force and Xenos energy manipulation. When it strikes, it does not just crush. It unleashes a localized EMP pulse, shutting down the cybernetics and advanced systems of the target. It is a weapon designed specifically to kill the technological terrors of the galaxy. The forges also produce the armor of the Watch. You see suits of Mark the 8th errant armor, a pattern rarely seen outside the Deathwatch. It features a raised gorget to protect the neck seal, a direct response to the tendency of Tyranid organisms to target the vulnerable throat. The armor is coated in ablative ceramic layers, designed to strip away under acid fire, sacrificing the outer shell to save the warrior within. But the most controversial technology lies in the use of Xenos-derived toxins. You see apothecaries working alongside the tech marines, distilling poisons from the glands of Tyranid warriors and the spores of Ork fungi. They are creating bioweapons, toxins that cause Ork blood to boil, viruses that target the specific genetic sequence of the Eldar. This is biological warfare on a galactic scale, a violation of the ancient codes of war, justified by the sheer existential threat of the alien. The Deathwatch also employs the Corvus Blackstar, a gunship unique to their order. You see one resting on a launch pad, its black hull absorbing the light. It is sleek, predatory, and packed with advanced sensor arrays that can detect a cloaked vessel in the void. Its engines are modified with vector thrust technology, allowing it to maneuver in the tight confines of a hive city or the treacherous gravity wells of an asteroid field. It is an insertion craft, a gunship, and a mobile command center all in one. You notice the servo skulls drifting through the forge. But these are not the gilded skulls of human saints. Some of them are Xenos skulls, the elongated cranium of an Eldar, the heavy brow of an Ork. They have been stripped of flesh, fitted with anti-grav motors and Auspex scanners, and enslaved to the will of the Watch. It is a gruesome practicality. Who better to sniff out an Eldar Ranger than the skull of his own kin? The atmosphere in the forge is one of intense, focused industry. There is no prayer here, only the rhythmic chant of the fabrication protocols. The tech marines know that the weapons they build will be used in the darkest places of the galaxy. They know that a jammed bolter or a failed power cell means the death of a brother and the loss of a world. You see a veteran marine testing a combi melta. He fires a burst of superheated gas into a target dummy made of Tyranid carapace. The dummy vaporizes instantly. He nods, satisfied. This is the tools of his trade. He does not love the weapon. He respects it. He knows that in the void, technology is the only thing that stands between him and the predator. The forges of the Deathwatch are a testament to the Imperium's adaptability. In a stagnant galaxy where innovation is feared, the Watch dares to evolve. They take the strength of the enemy and turn it against them. They are the scavengers of the battlefield, the masters of the forbiddance, forging victory from the scrap code and the xenotech of a billion dead worlds. As you leave the heat of the forge, you carry with you the scent of burnt ozone and the knowledge that in the war for survival, purity is a luxury the Deathwatch cannot afford. From the grand engineering of the forges, we zoom into the microscopic lethality of the magazine. You find yourself in a sterile, low-light chamber lined with rows of ammunition crates. This is not the mass-produced stockpile of a standard Astra Militarum regiment. This is a laboratory of ballistics, where every shell is a masterpiece of alchemical cruelty designed for a specific biological target. We speak now of special issue ammunition, the signature advantage of the Deathwatch. Imagine holding a standard bolt gun shell. It is a .75 caliber rocket-propelled grenade, a blunt instrument of trauma. Now imagine peeling back the casing to reveal the horrors within. The Deathwatch does not simply fire and forget. They select the exact form of death required for the moment. First, you examine the Hellfire round. It is identifiable by the viridian stripe painted across the casing. The core of this shell is not high explosive, but a glass vial containing a mutagenic acid. This acid was originally derived from the gene stock of Tyranid biotitans, refined by the Magos biologists to be universally corrosive to organic matter. When a Hellfire round strikes flesh, it does not explode. It shatters. The acid is injected directly into the target's bloodstream. You visualize the effect. A towering orc knob, his muscles thick as cables, is hit in the chest. The round impacts. Instantly, the acid begins to unmake him. It liquefies veins, melts organs into slurry, and boils the marrow in his bones. The pain is absolute. It is designed to drop organisms that do not feel pain, to shock systems that are redundant. It turns the enemy's own biology against them, transforming a warrior into a puddle of biomass in seconds. Next, you pick up a Kraken bolt. The casing is polished adamantium. The tip a needle-sharp monomolecular point. This is the penetrator. The core is replaced with a super-dense adamantium rod, backed by a high-yield propellant charge that exceeds standard tolerances. This round is designed for one thing: range and penetration. When fired, the Kraken bolt travels at hypersonic speeds. It does not mushroom upon impact. It drills. You see it punching through the thick chitin of a Tyranid warrior, through the carapace armor of a Tau fire warrior, through the scrap plate of a Kilocan. It ignores cover. It makes a mockery of distance. It allows a Deathwatch Marine to reach out and touch the enemy's heart from across the battlefield, delivering kinetic energy so focused it can crack ceramite like an eggshell. Then, there's the Dragonfire bolt. The casing is etched with flame motifs, and it feels warm to the touch. The warhead contains a pressurized gas mixture that ignites on contact with air. This is not a shaped charge. It is an area denial weapon. Imagine a kill team clearing a space hulk, the corridors choked with genostealers hiding in the shadows. A standard bolter might miss. A Dragonfire bolt does not need to hit directly. It detonates in the air, releasing a cloud of superheated gas that fills the corridor. It bypasses cover. It ignores evasion. It burns the air from the lungs of the enemy, cooking them inside their own cover. It turns the battlefield into an oven, flushing out the ambushers and leaving them vulnerable to the kill shot. Finally, you examine the Vengeance round. The casing is dark, absorbing the light, heavy with a dense, unstable plasma core. This is a dangerous round, prone to overheating the weapon that fires it. It was created for a singular, tragic purpose: to kill traitor Marines. The Vengeance round utilizes unstable flux core technology. Upon impact, It destabilizes matter at a molecular level. It is designed to eat through power armor. When it hits a Chaos Space Marine, it does not just penetrate. It disrupts the ceramite, burning through the layers of protection that make the astartes so resilient. It is the Deathwatch's answer to the heretic astartes, a way to level the playing field against enemies who wear the same armor as they do. It is a fratricidal weapon, a reminder that the Deathwatch must be ready to kill anything, even their fallen brothers. But the alchemy of death goes deeper. You see shotguns loaded with worm's breath shells, which unleash a torrent of promethium flame. You see crypt-clearer rounds, packed with fragments of silver and sanctified salt, designed to disrupt the necrodermis of the Necrons. You see metal storm frag shells which detonate before impact, shredding lightly armored targets like Eldar Guardians or Ork, boys with a hailstorm of shrapnel. The logistics of this ammunition are staggering. A Deathwatch Marine must know, in the heat of combat, exactly which round to chamber. He must switch from Hellfire to Kraken in the span of a heartbeat as his target changes from a biological horror to an armored vehicle. His bolter is modified with a fire selector switch, a mechanism that requires muscle memory honed to perfection. You watch a veteran in the firing range. He is moving through a simulation. A holographic Tyranid swarm rushes him. Click thump. Hellfire rounds dissolve the gaunts. A warrior appears, armored in chitin. Click thump. Kraken rounds punch through its chest. A lictor uncloaks in the shadows. Click thump. Dragonfire rounds. Flush it out with a wall of heat dot. It is a symphony of ballistics. The Deathwatch Marine is not just a shooter. He is a conductor of an orchestra of destruction. He understands the physics of penetration, the chemistry of corrosion, the thermodynamics of immolation. This special issue ammunition is a jealously guarded secret. The formulas are kept in stasis vaults, known only to the highest-ranking tech Marines of the Watch. Other chapters crave this power. They petition for the STC Dea, but the Inquisition refuses. This power is too great, too specialized. It belongs to the Watch alone. It is the edge that allows 5 Marines to hold back 1,000. It is the force multiplier that turns a kill team into an army. It is the alchemy of death, brewing in the magazines of the Watch fortresses, waiting to be unleashed upon a galaxy that teems with life unworthy of existence. We shift focus from the weapons to the hands that wield them. You find yourself in the Stratageum's training deck, a simulated war zone of jagged metal and shifting holographic cover. The air is filled with the bark of practice bolters and the grunt of exertion. Here, the true alchemy of the Deathwatch takes place, the forging of the kill team. Imagine 5 strangers thrown into a cage with a tiger. Now imagine those strangers are demigods, each raised in a warrior culture that views all others with suspicion, if not outright disdain. This is the starting point of every kill team. You see a space wolf, his armor adorned with talismans of bone and fur, pacing like a caged predator. He is loud, boastful, relying on instinct and ferocity. Opposite him stands a dark angel, hooded and silent, his every movement calculated and secretive. He views the Volf as a barbarian. The Volf views him as a coward. Next to them is an ultramarine, the embodiment of the Codex Astartes, trying to impose order on chaos. A Black Templar sharpens his sword, muttering prayers of hate, while a Raven Guard blends into the shadows, watching them all with cold detachment. These men are heroes in their own chapters. They are captains, veterans, champions. But here, they are raw recruits. Their individual prowess is meaningless if they cannot function as a single organism. The training begins. It is not gentle. The Watch captains hurl them into impossible scenarios. They are surrounded by infinite waves of holographic orcs. They are hunted by invisible Eldar snipers. They are trapped in collapsing hive cities. You watch the friction. The Ultramarine calls for a defensive formation. The Space Wolf ignores him and charges. The formation breaks. The simulation ends in a red wash of casualty runes. The captain berates them, not for failing to kill, but for failing to trust. You are not a pack of wolves. He roars. You are not a shield wall. You are a machine. If one gear fails, the engine dies. The process of breaking down these barriers is slow and painful. It happens in the mess hall, over bowls of nutrient gruel, where they trade stories of their homeworlds. The Wolf tells of the ice krakens of Fenris. The Templar speaks of the Crusades in the galactic north. They realize that while their methods differ, their scars are the same. They have all seen brothers die. They have all held the line against the darkness. It happens in the sparring cages. You see the Dark Angel and the Space Wolf circling each other. They fight not with weapons, but with fists. They beat the pride out of each other. And when they are both bloodied and bruised, lying on the deck, a mutual respect begins to form. The Wolf acknowledges the Angel's skill. The Angel acknowledges the Wolf's heart. Slowly, the dynamic shifts. You watch a new simulation. This time, when the Ork horde charges, the Ultramarine does not shout orders. He suggests a vector. The Space Wolf does not charge blindly. He flanks, drawing the enemy's fire. The Raven Guard uses the distraction to eliminate the war boss. The Black Templar holds the center, an anchor of righteous fury. The Dark Angel covers their retreat with precise, covering fire. They move like fluid. They anticipate each other. The Space Wolf knows that when the Ultramarine reloads, there's a 2-second gap in the firing line, and he fills it with his bolter. The Raven Guard knows that the Templar will draw the biggest target, leaving the unprotected rear open for a lightning claw strike. They create a new doctrine, a synthesis of their bloodlines. The tactical discipline of Macragge tempers the savagery of Fenris. The zeal of the Templars is guided by the stealth of the Raven Guard. They become something greater than the sum of their parts. Is the genius of the kill team. It is a microcosm of the Imperium's military might, condensed into 5 men. A single kill team can do what a company of a single chapter cannot. They can adapt. If they face a horde, the Ultramarine takes command. If they face a stealthy hunter, the Raven Guard leads. If they need to break a fortress, the Imperial Fist steps forward. You witness the birth of the bond. It is deeper than the bond of a chapter, because it is chosen, not inherited. These men have chosen to trust strangers with their lives. They have looked past the color of the armor and seen the warrior beneath. But the forging is not just tactical. It is emotional. They become the keepers of each other's secrets. The Dark Angel learns that the Space Wolf is not just a savage, but a poet. The Ultramarine learns that the Black Templar is not just a fanatic, but a protector. They share the burden of the Apocryphon Oath. They are the only ones who understand the things they have seen. You see a kill team preparing for a real deployment. They stand in the hangar bay, checking each other's gear. The Space Wolf slaps the Ultramarine on the shoulder, a gesture of camaraderie that would have been unthinkable weeks ago. The Dark Angel nods to the Raven Guard, a silent acknowledgement of shared purpose. They board the Corvus Blackstar. The ramp closes. They are 5 different bloodlines, 5 different philosophies, 5 different histories. But in the dark of the gunship, as they hurtle towards a Xenos-infested moon, they are one thing. They are Deathwatch. And for the alien that awaits them, they are the end of the world. We ascend now from the tactical ground of the kill team to the shadowy corridors of command, where the warriors of the Watch intersect with the silent masters of the Ordo Xenos. You are walking down a hallway of black marble in the upper spire of the Watch Fortress. The air here is colder, the silence deeper. The statues lining the walls are not of space marines, but of robed figures clutching symbols of judgment, the Inquisition. This is the nexus of a delicate, often volatile alliance. The Deathwatch is the chamber militant of the Ordo Xenos, the strong right arm of the Inquisition. But an arm does not always obey the brain without question, especially when that arm is composed of transhuman warriors who answer to their own ancient codes of honor. You enter a briefing chamber. At the head of the table stands a Lord Inquisitor. He is a mortal man, frail compared to the astartes around him, yet he commands the room with a terrifying presence. His skin is pale, his eyes augmented with sensory clusters that see spectrums of light invisible to the naked eye. He wears a rosette of office, the Thigh of the Inquisition, a symbol that grants him the authority to burn worlds. Opposite him stands the Watch Commander. He is a giant in artificer armor, a veteran of 1,000 campaigns. He respects the Inquisitor's authority, but he does not fear it. He knows that while the Inquisition provides the targets, it is the Deathwatch that pays the butcher's bill. You witness the tension. It is a friction born of differing philosophies. The Inquisitor sees the big picture, the sector-wide threat, the political ramifications, the necessity of sacrificing 1 billion lives to save 1 trillion. He views the Deathwatch as a tool, a precision instrument to be used and discarded if necessary. The Watch Commander sees his brothers. He sees the cost of every mission in Astartes' blood. He is reluctant to spend the lives of his veterans on suicide missions or political assassinations. He demands intelligence, support, and a chance of victory. The Xenos artifact on Gosser Quintus must be recovered, the Inquisitor states, his voice dry as dust. It is a key to the Necron pylons. The lives of the colonists are irrelevant. The kill team will prioritize the artifact. The kill team will prioritize the destruction of the threat, the Watch Commander counters, his voice a growl. We are not treasure hunters. We are exterminators. If the artifact cannot be secured without compromising the team, it will be destroyed. This is the eternal dance. The Inquisition seeks knowledge. The Deathwatch seeks purity. The Inquisitor wants to study the Tyranid organism to find a biological weakness. The Deathwatch wants to burn it to ash to ensure it never evolves. Yet, despite the friction, the symbiosis is undeniable. The Inquisition possesses the spy networks, the acolytes, the deep void listening posts. They find the needles in the galactic haystack. They identify the Genestealer cult hiding in the Underhive, the Drukhari raiders stalking the trade routes, the dormant tomb world waking beneath a mining colony. Without the Inquisition, the Deathwatch would be blind, striking at shadows. And without the Deathwatch, the Inquisition would be toothless. An Inquisitor and his retinue can uncover a heresy, but they cannot storm a fortress held by Ork meganobs. They cannot board a Tyranid hive ship and plant a vortex bomb in its heart. They need the transhuman dread, the tactical genius, and the overwhelming firepower of the astartes. See the compromise. A kill team is deployed. An Inquisitor accompanies them, not as a commander, but as an advisor and a watcher. This adds a layer of complexity to the mission. The Space Marines must protect the Inquisitor, a fragile mortal in a war zone of monsters. They must also endure his scrutiny. Is he judging their purity? Is he looking for signs of corruption? Is he prepared to execute them if they fail? The dynamic shifts when the Inquisitor is a radical. You hear whispers of Inquisitors who use Xenos weapons, who bargain with Eldar, who even bind daemon hosts. For a puritanical Black Templar or a rigid Ultramarine in the Deathwatch, serving such a master is a test of faith. They must obey the seal of the Inquisition, even when every instinct screams that it is heresy. But there are moments of profound unity. You recall the Kryptman Gambit, where Inquisitor Kryptman and the Deathwatch worked in concert to divert Hive Fleet Leviathan into the Ork Empire of Octarius. It was a monstrous decision, condemning billions of Xenos to an eternal war, but it bought the Imperium time. It was a strategy born of the Inquisitor's cold logic, and executed by the Deathwatch's brutal efficiency. The command structure is further complicated by the black ships. The Inquisition maintains its own fleet, often painted the same void black as the Deathwatch. On joint operations, the line between inquisitorial stormtroopers and chapter serfs blurs. You see astartes fighting alongside assassins of the Officio Assassinorum, alongside Grey Knights, alongside the strange and terrifying retinues of the Holy Ordos. In the end, the relationship is held together by the Apocryphon Oath. The Deathwatch has sworn to protect humanity from the alien. The Inquisition is the agency of that protection. They may despise each other's methods. They may argue over the morality of their actions, but they are bound by the same grim necessity. You watch as the briefing ends. The Inquisitor nods to the Watch Commander. It is not a bow. It is an acknowledgement of mutual lethality. The kill team is greenlit. The coordinates are locked. As the Inquisitor leaves, disappearing back into the shadows of his own secretive world, the Watch Commander turns to his tactical display. He knows that the Inquisition will take the credit for the victory or purge the records of the defeat. He knows that his brothers will be the ones bleeding in the mud, but he also knows that without the Inquisitor's intelligence, the threat would have gone unnoticed until it was too late. It is a bitter pill, swallowed in silence. The Deathwatch does not need to be liked. It needs to be effective. And in the 41st millennium, effectiveness requires making deals with the devils you know to kill the devils you don't. From the cold politics of command, we descend back into the visceral reality of the enemy. We enter the Apothecarian, but this sector is sealed behind heavy blast doors, marked with the runes of biological hazard. This is the domain of the Watch's specialized apothecaries and the Magos biologists. Here, the enemy is not a strategic dot on a map, but a specimen on a slab. We turn our gaze to the green tide, the Orks, and the specific science of dismantling them. You stand over a dissection table. On it lies the corpse of an Ork knob, its massive green bulk restrained by adamantium clamps. The smell is pungent, a mix of fungal spores, old sweat, and raw meat. The apothecary, a brother of the Blood Angels whose red armor is now painted black, holds a monomolecular scalpel. He is teaching a class of new recruits not how to shoot an Ork, but how to stop it from coming back. The biology of the Ork is a nightmare of redundancy. They are a symbiotic organism, a fusion of animal and fungus. You see the apothecary peel back the thick leather-like skin. Underneath, there is no fat, only dense muscle and a strange, spongy tissue that acts as a secondary circulatory system. Observe, the apothecary intones, his voice calm. The Ork does not die like a man. You can shoot it in the heart, and the fungal lattice will sustain it. You can sever a limb, and the spores will cauterize the wound instantly. To kill an Ork, you must disrupt the biological harmony. This is tactical biologists. It is the application of medical knowledge to the art of slaughter. You learn that the Ork's brain is not the only seat of consciousness. The nervous system is decentralized. A decapitated Ork head can live for hours, still biting, still hating. A headless Ork body can still pull a trigger. The Deathwatch learns to target the ganglia clusters located at the base of the spine and under the armpits. A precision shot here sends the nervous system into shock, shutting down the fungal symbiosis. But the true threat of the Ork is not the individual. It is the reproductive cycle. Orks reproduce via spores. Every time an Ork is wounded, every time it dies, it releases a cloud of microscopic spores that settle into the soil. Within weeks, subterranean fungal cocoons form. Within months, squigs and snotlings emerge. Within a year, a new generation of Ork boys digs itself out of the ground. Ready for war. To fight an Ork invasion is to fight the planet itself. The Deathwatch has developed specific countermeasures. You see a canister of phage toxin. It is a bioagent designed to attack the cellular structure of the orkoid fungus. When released into the atmosphere of an infested zone, it causes the spores to wither and die before they can germinate. It turns the lush green fungal forests of an Ork world into gray, Crumbling ash dot, you watch a simulation of a kill team deploying these toxins. They do not just kill the warriors. They poison the earth. They salt the ground so that nothing green can ever grow again. It is a form of genocide that the Imperium deems necessary. The lessons go deeper. The apothecary explains the WOG. Energy. It is a latent psychic field generated by the collective excitement of the Orks. It makes their crude weapons work. It makes their red vehicles go faster. The larger the horde, the stronger the field. But it has a focal point, the war boss. The Deathwatch learns that the war boss is not just a leader. He is a biological battery. He grows larger as he wins battles, his body soaking up the WOG. Energy. To kill a war boss is to break the circuit. But a war boss is tough. His bones are like iron. His pain threshold is non-existent. The tactical doctrine for a war boss kill is precise. You do not trade blows with him. You blind him. You use flashbangs and blinding lasers to overload his retina. Orks rely heavily on visual intimidation. If they cannot see, they lose confidence. And when an Ork loses confidence, the WOG, energy falters. His armor becomes just scrap metal. His gun jams. He becomes mortal. You see the specialized war gear designed for this task. The chainsword with the Bane of Orks modification. The teeth are serrated in a specific pattern to rip through the dense fungal muscle without getting stuck. The stasis grenade, which traps the war boss in a bubble of slowed time, allowing the kill team to dissect him with meltifier before he can react. Apothecary moves to a smaller specimen, a grot. It is pathetic, whimpering. But the lesson is stern. Do not underestimate the runts, he warns. They are the mechanics, the ammunition carriers, the spies. Eliminate the grots, and the Ork war machine grinds to a halt. The Deathwatch also studies the psychology of the greenskin. They know that Orks are prone to infighting. A well-placed sniper shot that kills a nob can cause his subordinates to fight over his position, turning the mob against itself. The Deathwatch utilizes Vox Ghost recordings of Ork challenges, broadcast on their frequencies, to draw patrols into ambushes or to incite riots in their camps. This is the cold, analytical face of the Watch. They do not view the Ork with hatred, but with the detached scrutiny of an exterminator. They know that the green tide is relentless, that it cannot be bargained with or frightened. It can only be dismantled, cell by cell, spore by spore. As the dissection concludes, the apothecary wipes his scalpel. The Ork corpse is incinerated, the ashes contained to prevent any accidental spore release. The recruits look at the pile of dust. They understand now. They are not just fighting warriors. They are fighting a plague. And the only cure is absolute purification. You leave the apothecarian with a new understanding of the enemy. The Ork is not a comical brute. It is a biological weapon that has overrun the galaxy once before. And in the dark corners of the universe where the beast once rose, the Deathwatch ensures that it never rises again. We move from the brutal biology of the Ork to a horror that is far more alien, far more insidious. We step onto the deck of a boarding torpedo, hurtling through the void towards the living nightmare of a Tyranid hive ship. The air inside the pod is stale, smelling of fierce sweat and recycled oxygen. The astartes around you are silent, checking their bolters, reciting the litanies of hatred. They are about to enter the belly of the beast. The Tyranids are not merely an enemy. They are an event horizon. They are a swarm of trillions, a single consciousness spread across 1 billion bodies. They do not conquer. They consume. They strip worlds of biomass, water, air, soil, flesh, leaving behind barren rocks spinning in the void. To fight them on the ground is a losing battle of attrition. The Deathwatch doctrine against the Great Devourer is different. Sever the head and the body dies. The torpedo impacts. The hull of the hive ship is not metal, but chitin and calcified bone. The breach charges detonate with a wet thud, spraying acidic ichor into the void. The ramp drops. You are inside. The environment is hostile. The air is toxic, filled with microscopic spores that seek to digest your lungs. The walls pulse with a rhythmic, wet heartbeat. Feeder tendrils hang from the ceiling, dripping digestive enzymes. It is hot, humid, and smells of rotting meat and ammonia. The kill team moves with practiced efficiency. Their auspexes are useless here, jammed by the psychic static of the hive mind, the shadow. In the warp, they must rely on their eyes and their instincts. The first wave hits. Hormagaunts, scything talons blurring, pour from the organic vents in the walls. They are endless. The bolters roar, their mass-reactive shells exploding inside the soft flesh of the aliens. But for every one that falls, 3 more take its place. The Deathwatch does not stop. They advance through the gore, stepping over the twitching bodies. They are not here to kill the Gaunts. They are here for the synapse. The synapse creatures, warriors, zoanthropes. The hive tyrant are the nodes of the hive mind. They are the officers, the conduits through which the Norn Queen controls the swarm. Without them, the lesser beasts revert to animalistic instinct. You watch as the kill team identifies a Tyranid warrior. It towers over the Gaunts, wielding bone swords and a venom cannon. The Deathwatch librarian steps forward. He unleashes a psychic storm, a bolt of lightning that fries the warrior's brain. As the creature falls, the Gaunts around it falter. They scream in confusion, turning on each other or fleeing into the shadows. This is the weakness. This is the target. Deeper you go, the resistance stiffens. You encounter Genostealers, creatures of terrifying speed and reflex. They burst from the floor, their diamond-hard claws capable of rending Terminator armor. A brother falls, his chestplate torn open. The apothecary retrieves his gene seed in seconds, a grim harvest amidst the slaughter. The team does not slow down. They cannot. The objective is the Norn Queen, or a vital organ cluster that sustains the ship. The geography of the hive ship is confusing, a labyrinth of sphincter doors and digestion pools. The walls try to crush you. The floor tries to eat you. It is a battle against the environment itself. You reach the central chamber. It is a cavern of pulsating flesh, dominated by a massive bloated organism suspended in a web of veins. The synapse node. It is guarded by Tyrant Guard, living shields of chitin. The kill team splits. The heavy weapons specialist unleashes the frag cannon, turning the air into a storm of shrapnel that blinds the guards. The assault marines launch themselves into the fray, chainsword screaming. The captain charges the node, planting a melta-bomb on its pulsating surface. Clear! He shouts. The explosion is wet and muffled. The node ruptures. The effect is instantaneous. A psychic shockwave rips through the ship. The walls spasm. The lesser Tyranids shriek and collapse. The hive ship itself seems to scream, a sound felt in the bone rather than heard. The shadow in the warp flickers out, but the mission is not over. They must escape. The ship is dying, its biological systems failing. Acid begins to flood the chambers. Gravity fluctuations slam Marines into the walls. It is a race against digestion that they reach the extraction point. The Corvus Blackstar is waiting, hovering in the void near the breach. They leap from the dying beast, their armor smoking, their ammunition spent. As they pull away, you see the hive ship convulse and begin to break apart, its biomass venting into space. This is the reality of the Tyranid war. It is not glorious charges on open fields. It is claustrophobic, dirty, terrifying tunnel fighting inside a living organism. It is a war of biological countermeasures. The Deathwatch also employs Hellfire rounds here to devastating effect. The mutagenic acid is specifically tailored to the Tyranid genome. A single round can dissolve a warrior from the inside out. They use dragonfire bolts to clear the spore-choked corridors, but the psychological toll is heavy. The shadow in the warp weighs on the soul. It is a presence of absolute alien hunger. It whispers that resistance is futile, that all biomass belongs to the hive. To fight it is to fight the inevitability of entropy. You see the survivors in the transport. They are removing their helmets. Their faces are pale, their eyes haunted. They have looked into the maw of the great devourer. They have smelled its breath. And they know that for every hive ship they destroy, 1,000 more are drifting in the dark between the galaxies. Yet they do not despair. They reload. They repair their armor. They prepare for the next drop. Because they know that if they stop, the hunger will consume everything. They are the indigestion of the hive mind, the poison pill that refuses to be swallowed. We leave the visceral, fleshy horrors of the hive ship and return to the cold, sanctified silence of the watch fortress Iriak. But we are going deeper than the training decks, deeper than the armories. We are descending into the Omega Vault. You stand before a door that is not a door. It is a seamless slab of adamantium, inscribed with runes that hurt the eyes to look upon. They are wards of such potency that even the Grey Knights would pause before them. This vault does not open with a key, or a code, or a biometric scan. It opens when it chooses. The Omega Vault is an enigma wrapped in a mystery. It is said to contain the ultimate sanctions, the weapons of last resort, the truths that would shatter the Imperium if revealed. It is a time-locked prison of knowledge. The mechanism is arcane. The vault opens specific chambers in response to specific threats. When the Tyranids first appeared, a chamber opened revealing the designs for the Hellfire round. When the Necrons awoke on their tomb worlds, another chamber unlocked, offering the Phase Blade. It is as if the vault is sentient or prescient, anticipating the doom of mankind and offering the tools to delay it. You watch as the massive gears turn. The sound is tectonic, a grinding of metal that vibrates through the bedrock of the fortress. A single hatch opens. A watch captain, his face hidden behind a cowl, steps forward to retrieve the contents. Inside, there's a stasis casket. It contains a weapon of unknown origin. It pulses with a pale, sickly light. The inscription warns that it is a Dark Age device, a relic of the time before the Emperor, when humanity toyed with technologies that could eat stars. Why is it here? Why does the Deathwatch hoard these forbidden artifacts? Because the alien does not play by the rules of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The Eldar use psychic wraith constructs. The Necrons manipulate the fundamental constants of the universe. To fight them with only bolters and faith is to lose. The Omega Vault is the Deathwatch's deal with the devil. It is the repository of fighting fire with fire. You see shelves lined with Xenos artifacts that have been deemed too dangerous to destroy, yet too useful to ignore. There is a Halo device, a parasitic artifact that grants immortality at the cost of the soul. It is kept here not to be used, but to be studied, so that the Watch can kill those who do use it. There is a Tesseract labyrinth, a Necron prison that can trap a Khan shard. There are soul stones of the Eldar, humming with the whispers of the dead. The vault also contains knowledge. Prophecies of the Eldari, star charts of the Rud migrations, the biological secrets of the enslavers. This information is dangerous. To know the future is to risk the temptation to change it, to fall into the trap of TZENTCH. Not only the Watchmasters and the highest-ranking Inquisitors are permitted to enter, and even they do not know what lies in the deepest chambers. Rumors persist of a terminus decree, a final weapon or command to be used only when the Golden Throne fails. Some say it is a virus that will kill all life in the galaxy to starve chaos. Others say it is a map to the lost Primarchs. The atmosphere in the vault is heavy with the weight of potential extinction. Every object here represents a species that could wipe out humanity. Every tome contains a truth that could drive a man mad. You see a watchkeeper, a specialized custodian of the vault. He is old, his armor unpainted, his eyes replaced with sensory augers. He walks the aisles, checking the stasis fields, ensuring that the horrors within do not wake. He is a librarian of the apocalypse. The Omega Vault is a symbol of the Deathwatch's burden. They are not just warriors. They are the keepers of the Forbiddens. They hold the keys to Pandora's box, and their duty is to ensure it remains closed or, if necessary, to open it just enough to let out a singular, targeted doom. It is a place of shadows and silence, where the ticking of the stasis fields counts down the seconds to the end of time. And outside, in the void, the enemies of man draw closer, unaware that the Imperium holds a knife behind its back, waiting for the moment to strike. The vault closes. The gears lock. The secret is safe for another day. But you know that it will open again. The galaxy is full of horrors, and for every monster, the vault has a cage. We turn away from the cold, mechanical secrets of the Omega Vault to the hot, beating heart of a mystery that walks on two legs. We speak now of the Black Shields. And the stratified, heraldry-obsessed culture of the Adeptus Astartes. Your chapter is your family, your history, and your soul. To be without a chapter is to be a ghost. Yet, in every watch fortress, there are brothers who wear no colors on their right pauldron. It is scoured clean, painted a flat, absorbing black. They have no name, only a title, Black Shield. You see one standing in the training cages. He fights with a savage intensity that borders on the suicidal. He does not speak to the others. He eats alone. He prays alone. He is an island of silence in a sea of brotherhood. Who are they? The theories are as numerous as the stars. Some are the last survivors of chapters that have been shamed or destroyed. Imagine a chapter master who led his brothers into a trap, watching them all die due to his hubris. He survives, but he cannot bear the weight of his name. He comes to the Deathwatch to die, to erase his failure in the blood of the alien. Others are exiles. Perhaps a captain who disagreed with his chapter master on a point of doctrine, or who refused an order that would have led to the slaughter of innocents. The Imperium does not look kindly on disobedience, but the Deathwatch offers a second chance. A place where skill matters more than politics. But there is a darker possibility. During the Horus Heresy, the galaxy was split in two. Brother fought brother. But not every warrior in the traitor legions turned. There were loyalists in the World Eaters, the Death Guard, the Thousand Sons. They were hunted by their own kin. Some fled. Some found their way to the fringes. Is it possible that a Black Shield is a son of Angron, fighting for the Emperor with the butcher's nails biting into his skull? Is it possible that a son of Mortarion, resisting the rot, seeks redemption in the Watch? The Inquisition suspects, but they do not ask. As long as the Black Shield kills the alien, his lineage is irrelevant. You watch the Black Shield in the cage. He is fighting a hologram of a Khorne berserker. The violence is personal. He does not just kill the simulation. He dismantles it. There is a hatred there that goes beyond duty. It is the hatred of the self. The process of becoming a Black Shield is a ritual of absolution. The Marine presents himself at the gates of the Watch Fortress. He petitions the Watch Commander. He offers his service, but he withholds his name. "I am no one," he says. "I am the weapon you need." The commander looks into his eyes. He sees the pain, the shame, the desperate need for atonement. He accepts. The armor is stripped. The heraldry is burned. The Marine is reborn as a shadow. They are the most dangerous warriors in the Watch. They have nothing to lose. They volunteer for the suicide missions. They hold the rear guard when the extraction ship leaves. They charge the Bio-Titan with a melt-a-bomb strapped to their chest. They seek death, but death must be earned. You see a kill team where the leader has fallen. The Black Shield steps up. He does not ask for command. He takes it. He leads with a cold, ruthless efficiency. He sacrifices himself to save the others without a second thought. He is the ultimate expression of the Deathwatch ideal, the erasure of the self, for the survival of the species, but they are also a risk. A Black Shield is a wild card. Is he truly seeking redemption, or is he hiding a corruption that will bloom at the worst possible moment? The chaplains of the Watch keep a close eye on them. They listen to their confessions, searching for the taint of chaos. Yet, they are respected. The other Marines know that whatever this brother did, whatever he is running from, he is here now. He stands on the wall. He bleeds the same red blood. There is a legend in the Watch of a Black Shield, who fought on the bridge of a space hulk against a demon prince. As he died, his armor shattered, revealing the tattoo of a Hydra, the symbol of the Alpha Legion. Was he a traitor spy? Or a loyalist sleeper agent? The question remains unanswered. Another secret buried in the archives, that the Black Shields are the ghosts of the Imperium's history. They are the living reminders that even the angels of death can fall. And that redemption is a road paved with the corpses of Xenos. You leave the training deck. The sound of the Black Shield's bolter ringing in your ears. He is firing at shadows, fighting a war that will never end, running from a past that will always be one step behind him. He is the nameless, the faceless, the shield that slays in the dark. From the solitary penance of the Black Shield, we ascend to the pinnacle of command. You enter the inner sanctum, the domain of the Watchmasters and the Keepers. This is not merely a military headquarters. It is a repository of wisdom accumulated over 10,000 years of continuous war. The Watchmaster stands at the center of the room. He is a monolith of experience. He wears the clavis, a complex key tool that can open any lock in the Imperium and seal any gate against the alien. He wields the Guardian Spear, a weapon gifted by the Adeptus Custodes themselves, a symbol of his authority as the supreme defender of humanity's realm. He is not just a strategist. He is a diplomat, a scholar, and a warrior king. He must balance the demands of the Inquisition, the politics of the Adeptus Astartes chapters, and the endless crises of the sector. He decides which world burns and which world is saved. He decides who lives and who dies. Surrounding him are the Keepers. These are the Dreadnought's ancient heroes of the Watch who have fallen in battle but refused to die. Encased in sarcophagi of adamantium and ceramite, they are living tanks, weapons of war that walk and talk. But here, in the sanctum, they serve a different purpose. They are the memory of the Watch. You see a Contemptor Dreadnought, a relic from the days of the Great Crusade. His voice is a deep, mechanical rasp, booming from vox grills that have not tasted air in millennia. He speaks of the Rangdan genocides, of the wars against the Rud, of enemies that have long since been extinct. He offers tactical advice born of centuries of slaughter. The Ork evolves, the Dreadnought intones. But the pattern remains. Break the Wog. Energy, and the beast falters. The Watchmaster listens. He consults the ancient warrior not as a tool, but as an elder. This is the strength of the Deathwatch, continuity. A captain may serve for a decade, a Watchmaster for a century, but a Dreadnought serves forever. They bridge the gap between the eras, ensuring that the hard-won lessons of the past are not lost to the fog of time. You also see the Watch captains, the field commanders. They are veterans of 100 campaigns, chosen for their tactical brilliance and their ability to lead diverse kill teams. They stand around the strategic hololith, plotting the next move. They are the hands of the Watchmaster, executing his will with surgical precision. But there is a shadow here too. The Watchmaster knows secrets that would shatter the minds of lesser men. He knows of the threats that lurk in the halo stars, the horrors that sleep beneath the surface of Forge worlds, the deals made in the dark to keep the Imperium alive. He knows of the Omega Vault's contents. He knows the true number of lost chapters. He knows that the Golden Throne is failing. This burden of knowledge isolates him. He cannot share it with his battle brothers for fear of breaking their resolve. He bears it alone, supported only by the silent council of the dreadnoughts. You watch as he authorizes an exterminatus. It is not done with anger or hate or even regret. It is done with cold, mathematical necessity. A world has been infected by the Tyranid microscopic spores. It cannot be saved. To let it live is to feed the hive mind. He inputs the codes. The clavis turns. In orbit, a cyclonic torpedo is launched. 1 billion lives are extinguished in a flash of fire. The Watchmaster does not look away. He watches the world burn on the hololith. He whispers a prayer for the souls of the innocent, and then he turns to the next threat. This is the price of command in the Deathwatch. You become a monster to fight monsters. You trade your humanity for the strength to protect it. The Keepers, the Dreadnoughts, watch him with their sensor eyes. They understand. They have stood where he stands. They know the weight of the clavis. They offer no comfort, only the reassurance of duty. The vigil continues, the dreadnought rumbles. The vigil continues, the Watchmaster replies. The sanctum is a place of heavy silence, broken only by the hum of the stasis fields and the low murmur of strategy. It is the brain of the organism, cold, calculating, and utterly ruthless. It is here that the war is truly fought, not with bolters and chainswords, but with decisions that weigh the survival of the species against the cost of its soul. You leave the sanctum, feeling the weight of the Watchmaster's gaze on your back. He is watching the stars, waiting for the next light to go out, ready to send his brothers into the dark to reignite it. And so, we arrive at the end of the journey, not in death, but in departure. We stand once more in the hangar bays of the Watch Fortress, amidst the smell of ozone and the idling engines of the Thunderhawks. But this time, the warrior is not arriving. He is leaving. The long vigil is over. Imagine the weight lifting from the shoulders of the veteran. He has served his time. He has faced the horrors of the galaxy and survived. He has walked through the fire and emerged, scorched but unbroken. He stands before the Watch Commander one last time. There are no medals. There are no parades. The Deathwatch does not celebrate survival. It expects it. The commander simply nods. Your oath is fulfilled, brother. Return to your kin. But the warrior is not the same man who arrived. He has seen the true face of the enemy. He has learned that the Codex Astartes is not a Bible, but a guide. He has learned that the Space Wolf is not a savage, but a brother. He carries with him the knowledge of 100 Xenos species, the tactical flexibility of a dozen chapters, and the quiet, heavy wisdom of the Watch. He undergoes the reverse of the Black Tithe. The black armor is removed, carefully stored for the next brother who will take his place. His original colors are restored. The crimson of the Blood Angels, the blue of the Ultramarines, the green of the Salamanders, they are painted back onto the ceramite. He reclaims his identity, but there is one difference. Look at his left shoulder. The silver pauldron of the Deathwatch remains. This is the mark of the veteran. It is a badge of honor that transcends chapter lines. When he returns to his homeworld, he will be greeted with awe. The younger Marines will look at the silver arm and know that this brother has walked in the shadows. He has stood on the wall. He has been a watcher. He is allowed to keep the secrets he has learned within reason. He brings back the knowledge of how to kill a lictor, how to disrupt an Orkwog, how to breach a Necron tomb. He becomes a teacher, a specialist. He enriches his chapter with the wisdom of the Ordo Xenos, but there is a distance now. You see it in his eyes as he greets his old squad mates. They speak of honor duels and company feuds. He listens, but his mind is elsewhere. He is thinking of the silence of the Watch Fortress. He is thinking of the brothers he left behind, the Black Shield who died holding a corridor, the Imperial Fist who took a plasma bolt for him. He is a stranger in his own home. He has seen the scale of the threat. He knows that the petty rivalries of the Imperium are meaningless in the face of the Great Devourer. He has become a man of two worlds, belonging fully to neither. Some never return. They choose to remain, to become watch captains, to serve until death takes them. For them, the watch is the only family that matters. But for those who go back, the silver pauldron is a constant reminder of the vigil. It is a heavy weight, a promise that if the call comes again, they will answer. You watch as the Thunderhawk lifts off, carrying the veteran back to the stars. The watch fortress shrinks in the viewport, a silent sentinel receding into the nebula. The warrior touches the silver metal of his shoulder. He whispers the final words of the litany, a closing prayer to the chapter of his life that has just ended. The cycle continues. A new ship arrives. A new brother steps onto the deck, his armor bright and unscarred. He looks around with wide eyes, ignorant of the horrors that await him. The veteran passes him in the void, a silent exchange of duty. One watch ends. Another begins. The Deathwatch is eternal. As long as there are aliens in the stars, there will be watchers in the dark. They are the thin black line. They are the shield that slays. And they will not rest until the galaxy is purged or humanity is dust. The archives are closing now. The data spools are winding down, their hum fading into the quiet of the night. You have walked the halls of the Watch Fortress. You have seen the monsters that lurk in the void, and the warriors who stand against them. You have borne witness to the price of survival in the 41st millennium. But here, in this moment, the war is distant. The roar of the bolter is silenced. The scream of the Xenos is just a memory. You are safe. The galaxy is vast and it is full of terrors, but it is also full of silence. Imagine yourself drifting in the deep void, far from the burning worlds. The stars are cold, unblinking eyes watching over you. There is no sound here, no pain, only the infinite, peaceful dark. Let the weight of the armor fall from your shoulders. Let the vigilance fade from your mind. The Deathwatch stands guard so that you do not have to. They are the sentinels on the wall, the sleepless eyes in the night. Because they are out there, fighting the monsters, you can rest. The Emperor protects. His light is a beacon in the warp, a lighthouse for the weary soul. He watches over the sleeping as he watches over the dead. You have done your duty. You have learned the lore. Now it is time to let go. Close your eyes. Let the darkness embrace you, not as an enemy, but as a blanket. The archives will be here when you wake. The lore will wait. Sleep now, loyal citizen. The watch continues. The Emperor protects.